Hi, everybody. I'm sorry for being so late, but I have no idea what's going on today. But I'm really slow. I'm doing things wrong, and the internet obviously doesn't work very well. Uh, just one moment, please. Thank you for being here. Jaime Cubillos. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hello, how are you? Chu, how are you? Thank you for being here. Now, I have no idea. Sorry, but my hair is always an issue. My hair for me is always the center of attention. I have no idea how you guys are still able to access my previous live, which I've unlisted because I decided that it was too depressing. I think I was just I've needed time to process the latest news from Mary in regards to the federation and the lawyers and the federation's legal system, etc., and how it applies here on Earth, which is the same thing, really. And it just, it was just, I think it exploded a bubble. It popped a bubble that I think I was in this beautiful fantasy, um, which is one of the reasons, I guess, of why we are here on Earth, is to live in a fantasy, really, something that is coerced to be like this. The society as such has needs to be mm, made up, basically, because it doesn't have a natural evolution as such. So it needs to have a hand in it that is quite brutal in my point of view. And I don't think it's necessary. Is it necessary? I don't know. And this Earth, the way it is, the civilization, its society, um, was it meant, as the Federation said, to be like a playground for star seeds to expand their consciousness, their understanding, etc., to have an experience? Or is that just a cover up? Hence why they have these legal systems in place so that they can do otherwise with this planet as they are doing now. So it's quite a long subject and it's quite interesting. So it is something that I was pondering, and I got really annoyed, to be honest, and at one point, because I thought, well, basically the Federation, the way it exists out there with its legal system, it's exactly the same of how the governments here work on this earth. And the Federation is so big. It has so much knowledge. I'm comparing this to, because we always say starseeds are the ones that keep the society as it is. It's because of us that this society keeps being like this with its low frequency. And here we have a constant flow of new starseeds trying to raise the frequency of this earth so we can change it, and so on and so on. And then I see this huge federation, which apparently is not being transparent. We know that from for a while now, but we see it as an entity that it's basically taking advantage. It is so big, it is so huge, and it's a battle that maybe we are going about it the wrong way, or maybe my perception was I guess I've changed my perception in regards to all this. Mm, because so here we are telling the star seeds to keep their frequency up, that we have to change the frequency of this earth so it changes. Uh, it's us, it's up to us. It's up to us of how we do this, and we need to do this, and we are responsible. There is this idea that was pushed on us that it was our responsibility and it was through our fault that this is the way it is. And the way we live here, we are keeping the society as such alive in this negative frequency. Now, and every day you wake up and you think, oh, my frequency, I have to keep it up, because it's important. And now I'm looking at this federation, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I think that we are going about this the wrong way. I think the star seeds are doing enough. Just being here, I think it's enough, to be honest, uh, to have this pressure on yourself to keep it up. And I mean, to have a high frequency, it feels really nice, to be honest. It's not, I mean, sometimes it's really not an effort. But you do feel a responsibility. And I think it is that responsibility that we need to remove from ourselves. Uh, because if we feel responsible, then we're going to create a reality that makes us feel responsible. See what I mean? Um, so I think we have to really question uh, what perception we have of this matrix, of this reality, and the part that we're playing in it. And to do that, we need to hear other star seeds. I think study all the information that's coming through the Tagetans, for example, through Mary and through other sources. There are people out there on this earth that are putting out interesting information. And so I just find all this just I think it exploded the bubble that I was in. I think I was in a bubble that kept myself in a fantasy that outside this earth, things were very, very different in regards to the government. There's no government as such, but we find that the Federation does act as a government between planets out there. And in regards to this earth, I mean, if you have an interest on this earth, whatever that is, then the Federation is a huge aspect of it. And it's the huge problem. And it's the only problem, to be honest. It's not the star seeds, it's not the people down here perpetuating the perpetuate, I just forget my words, keeping this type of society alive this way. Because it is really the Federation. Um, I think, and we go back to square one, where we know that as above, so below, and above, people are doing what they're doing. They are working on a plan, and down here, we are doing what we're doing, and we're working on a plan. So the work needs to be done on both sides, there and here. And I believe that starseeds, just by being here, living their lives, because we do try to live the best as we can and be as happy as we can, it's natural. Uh, I think that's more than enough. To be honest, that's all we need to do. Mm, and whether you feel inspired to do something else, for example, get together in a community and and build a holistic, I don't know how holistic it can be to build a community here. Hey, however it can come out, however it works for you, then that's a big step. It's really up to you. whether you want to do more, whether you just want to be where you are because that's what makes you happy, perfect. But there's no pressure um, to do something because it's our responsibility and it's because of us that this is happening, how the society is. It was also really easy to see how the government here and the legal system, it's basically just an extension of the federation. It's just federation. It's more federation. Um, there is nothing here, and we knew this, but it was so clear to me that the government and the legal system and even the police force, it's basically just another tentacle of the federation. There's nothing human created here. The legal system was not human created. It's not a human creation. The government is not a human creation. Uh, Even the police force, for example, it is basically there just to because the police here is the first stop for any delinquent to be bring to be caught and brought to justice. And the police force needs to be handled. And I was talking to a policeman a few weeks ago, and he was telling me that there is a lot of bullying in in the police force. And I'm thinking, bullying? Isn't that at school? I'm thinking bullying, it's a school thing. And he explained to me that people who are in a management level, as they go further and further and up, they get worse. And I was just listening to him and I'm thinking, it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense because the police, people who go into the police force, basically they want to do, most of them, this is social work. This is the place supposedly that brings protection to the civilians. Simple as that. And that's what they sell anyway. But once you are in there, uh, you obviously, if you're new there, you want to do that social work. And obviously, they cannot carry out this social work with that integrity. Because when you do social work, you need to have a level of integrity very high. Simple as that. And for you to be able to work there and stay there, you need to, you know, um, do as you're told because they cannot have people with integrity doing social work in the police force. As simple as that. So it's got to be bullying in some sense, isn't there? Because the federation wants the delinquent out on the street. The most important ones, they may be caught by the police, but then if they go through the legal system will make sure that they go free. I mean, we all know that people who have the elite, if they commit some sort of crime, they go free one way or another. Because why? Because the federation needs them to be free. Because the federation, for some reason that no one is really sure, wants to make this Earth a low frequency Earth. Keep it that way. So the legal system is not human created. It cannot be. It is federation. And those legal aspects also work outside the same way. So I think it was that clear understanding that just burst any type of fantasy bubble that I had left, that I was clinging on to and thinking outside, it might be different. No, it's not. It's not different. uh, yeah, it's quite an interesting topic. It is complicated. I think there was a complexity before that I saw in all this, that I was looking at it in a different way. Its complexity. Now the complexity that I believe I saw, it's not complex at all. It's quite straightforward. So everything here, government, legal system, police force, science, the UN, um, CIA, any type of entity, NASA. It's just an extension of the Federation. It's just a tentacle of the Federation. And I'm sure when you go outside, you can see, oh, that looks like NASA. Oh, that looks like the UN. Oh, that looks like the police force on Earth. The same thing, just different name. A little, a different touch to it. So it goes with the type of society that we're living in. But basically, we're just dealing with Federation. Literally, face to face with the Federation. We're dealing with the Federation. They're just using a mask. And one of those masks is the cabal. I mean, if before I wanted to know the list of the people, the human cabal that was that infiltrated the Pleiades, before I really wanted to know those names, now I have zero. I couldn't care less. I do not care who these people are. I don't care to know about their names. Nothing. It means nothing to me because it's just Federation. And I do have some memories of chatting with Federation, being in the Fed, and I started getting those feelings back, those memories back, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's the same thing. It's the same old, same old. Um, but I'm thinking that living on this earth for 50 years and this fantasy that the Federation, the one I remember, the one that it is that we are learning, or at least I'm learning about, didn't exist, made me live in a wonderful bubble. And it gave me a different perspective. Of course, it does give you a different perspective. And I think that is it's a triumph. It's maybe what I came here to do. And because it gives you a different perspective, it gives you different tools that you can use to attack a problem, to deal with a problem. And I think that's what I specifically myself I gained, uh, which otherwise I couldn't have done. So I needed to be completely ignorant of all this and then learn about it slowly, uh, so that I can really be able to process it. Mm. The Federation. Ah, the Fed. um, Lula Star, hello. Thank you. How are you? Ethan Johnson, hello. I think I think this person. Um, let me just. Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go. And so, what do you guys think? And I found it quite interesting because the latest videos, the imagination. I thought imagination, the imagination video, and it's type of information that we already know about, and it's always good to hear it again, I guess. Um, but she said the more you know, the more you expand your consciousness, the more uh, the parameters, I guess, of your imagination start to get bigger and bigger. So you get, you get more intricate, you get more type of imagination. As such, your imagination increases. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe this is what we're actually one of the tools that we need at the moment uh, to deal with this, to deal with this type of reality that we want to change. Mm, Imagination, it's one of the things that is key, obviously, in everything, I guess. Uh, but I think that we might not be using it to its full potential because imagination here, the way we look at it, it's more of for children. You let the childrens to imagine. You When you say imagination, you think of a child. You think of it as something very playful and something that you do in your spare time, not for serious, not to be serious. But imagination is incredibly important, and it's something that we are always using. For example, at work, we're always using our imagination, especially if you're in a management level. You need to imagine how you can do things better. So you're always imagining. Uh, but even though we use it so much, we don't think of it consciously at the importance that it has. And I think in this regard of what we're wanting to do here, imagination is key. I think it's really important. Mm, Also, we have to take into consideration that um, the disclosure has given us, depending on how long you've been following it, 5, 6 years of information, 5 or 6 years of chock-a-block information that expands your consciousness. You get a lot of knowledge, and can you imagine? Look at that. Can you imagine? Um, our imagination, I think, we really need to look at this again and start to imagine how we want this to change. Mm. So instead of, I guess, because the idea here on earth is for you not to imagine. The idea is for you to turn on Netflix, turn on the news, turn on the TV, listen to music, uh, watch something, and not to imagine and do things on your own, invent something. That's why TVs nowadays, the screens are getting cheaper and cheaper, and you find them at the supermarket. I mean, you go shopping to buy bread and milk, and you can basically just buy a TV, a screen TV, a screen, which is now we just need a screen, not a TV. I think TV are old fashioned now. It's a screen that we need. They're really cheap. Have you realized that? You can now find them everywhere. Heck, you can get them for free sometimes. Just people are giving them away. There are 5 or 6 screens in each house. It's kind of amazing. Why? Well, for the simple reason that they want you to constantly be manipulated. They constantly want you to have these programs uh, be working against you, and for you not to be even realize it. I mean, that wonderful series that you may be watching, that wonderful science fiction series, or I don't know, romantic series or whatever, it's there for the sole purpose of programming you to keep this matrix alive. And apparently, it's entertainment, it's fun. Yeah, it's better not to turn it on and just do something yourself, invent it, have make your imagination go wild and do something with your hands, build something, write something. So much more satisfying as well. And I think we underuse that and we overuse the screen. We overuse Netflix and all this type of entertainment out there. Have you realized how much money is being put on entertainment? It's unbelievable how much actors get paid. There's no coincidence. Actors and singers and all these people that entertain are paid a huge amount of money, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, seriously, it makes no sense. Why? Because they need them. They need them for their propaganda. Uh, they need it. They need them because it's a way for the people, for the Fed, to get our attention. We need that attention. For example, someone says to me, George Clooney, and I'm like, what? Before, I don't like him anymore. But you know what I'm trying to say. They need to get your attention. If you say someone to Marilyn Monroe, they're like, well, the young people now, they're like, who's Marilyn Monroe? I don't know who's famous now. I'm old, so like, I remember once someone said, "Oh, you know Madonna?" Like, who's Madonna? Oh my God, I do not like that woman. Um, but that's how they get our attention. So imagination, my God, use it. It's so powerful. We don't think it's powerful. And I was asked this question on on Telegram, Cosmic Agency chat, because I was pondering. And when I ponder things, I can ponder it on my own, and I can come up with my answer. I've done it all my whole life, but now what I do is I ponder it, and within a few minutes, I like to put that question out on a chat because I want everybody else's point of view and opinion, and I love it because people really want to share. And I said, I wonder, because Mary said, the more imagination you have, the more, the more knowledge you have, the more consciousness you have, the more conscious of things you are, the more imagination you have. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if you are in immersion in a pod like I am, I think the person there has a lot more knowledge than I do and remembers past lives. I don't remember my past lives, which is her past lives. I'm thinking, if I don't remember it here, does it mean that my imagination, the parameters of my imagination, do they shrink? But she has them and she's me. I'm the same consciousness. So do I still have the same parameters of the person that it's an immersion, which is me? Or do I have different parameters as Elizabeth? So I'm like pondering that. And someone answered and said something quite wonderful, which I thought as well. That it's the same thing. I have the same parameters as the person in the pod because it's the same consciousness. I may not be conscious of it, but it doesn't matter. It's still there. But she said something different, something that was interesting. She said, it is through imagination that you can access your memory. And I thought that's true. That's very true. I've done it before without realizing it. I remember once, many years ago, for some reason, I started imagining, because I didn't want to watch TV. I didn't want to be on social media. I didn't want to do anything. So I was doing an experiment on myself, and I thought, I'm just gonna go for walks. I'm gonna because if I'm at home, I'm constantly doing things. So I'm just gonna go for a walk, and all I can do on my walk is just walk. I'm not gonna listen to music, nothing. I'm just gonna walk. And while walking, I'm just gonna imagine something, anything. I'm just gonna imagine something. And I started to imagining that I was on a spaceship. This was before the disclosure. I found the disclosure. And I thought, I'm just going to imagine that. It's kind of out there. And I thought, yeah. And the only reference I had is the Star Trek. I've always been a fan of the Star Trek series. So I just thought to myself, I could just imagine myself being on the ship, wearing my little uniform, and I would just do that in my walks. And after a few walks, I started feeling this, just having this fabulous feeling. It's just a different feeling to the one I would get when I was imagining other things. And it's just this fabulous feeling. And the more imagining, the more uh, things came to mind. And I thought, are those memories? Then I started thinking, and wasn't sure if they were memories or it was just my imagination. It was the fault of Star Trek series, and I thought, wait a minute, it feels but the feeling of it, the emotion of it, was so unique. And after a while, I realized that they were memories. So it activated these memories, and that's how I check now whether I'm activating memories or I'm just imagining something. Uh, so it's a kind of an interesting way of accessing your memories. So if you're an immersion pod and you want to access your memories, uh, work with the imagination and do it for a while. You don't have to do it for like years and years. I'm talking about days here. And I thought this is brilliant. That's why I like putting my questions out there while I'm working on them, because people have these wonderful points of views and experience, obviously, and opinions to share. And I thought it was brilliant, to be honest. I really did think so. So imagination, I think it's the imagination that's going to help us to be able to carry out whatever plan you are here to do, to carry out. Um, what that is, I think it's unique to everyone. And I think imagination is key. So I think that video from Mary was really important, at least for me. And it was, for me, it was that way. It's kind of nice. To the egg, hello, how are you? Thank you, welcome. So yeah, so basically that's it. I mean, we can talk about the Federation for years and years. And I'm thinking, well, how they deal with the Federation out there, it's obviously different of of how we're going to deal with it down here. The way we deal with it is with what we have in our society, our governments, the UN, the education system, the legal system, etc. That's really just federation, isn't it? It's not human creation. It's federation creation. Simple as that. And the way we deal with it, it's the way we can deal with it in the parameters of society down here. A lot of it is just to ignore it and apply your imagination on how you think it should be. Because really, at the end of the day, your reality is only yours. It doesn't belong to me. I don't see it. I don't live it. You live it. You live your own reality. So if you want to change the reality you're living, imagine something else. and then you will live something else. It's an interesting journey. It's an individual journey in some ways. I like it because you have kind of full control over it on your own perception and reality. And I think that's kind of wonderful, actually. Hmm. Okay, that's it. That's all I have to say. Now, I still have no idea how you guys are able to access my previous video because it is unlisted. I'm not going to delete it, but yeah, I think I'll just keep it unlisted. It's a weird video, to be honest. It's a weird um, live stream for some reason. Okay, thank you guys for being here. You're all very quiet today. I think it's well, it's a Tuesday there. It's a Wednesday here. Okay, so I better go. Nice to see you all. Thank you for watching. Anything you have to say, share, please do so in the comments. Love to hear it. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.